5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Meet Matthew Preston. Inside his apartment, everything he holds dear is protected by Progressive's Renter's Insurance, like his laptop and a surprisingly valuable collection of baseball bobbleheads. Outside his apartment, his laptop is still protected, as are his bobbleheads, which he carries around with him for reasons no one knows. Renters, the limits of protection aren't just the 4 walls of your home. When you're in Progressive's Protection Zone, get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher for Outdoor Living Unlimited. Well, my wife and I chose Outdoor Living Unlimited to build our outdoor project. And when we met with Aaron and Eric Brown, owners and brothers of Outdoor Living Unlimited, we felt like they were the right guys to work with. We share the same hardworking values, and their showroom is a must-see at 665 Larry Court in Waukesha. If you're looking for a new deck, outdoor kitchen, screen room, and more, Outdoor Living Unlimited is a must. Start with OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com and end with an amazing outdoor space.
One great day of golf can change lives. Join us Monday, August 31st for the Salvation Army Milwaukee County's Swing for the Kettle Golf Invitational at Oakwood Park Golf Course in Franklin.
Your participation directly supports food, shelter, and life-changing programs for children and families throughout our community.
We'll be broadcasting live from the course, but the day is really about you, getting golfers and sponsors together to make a difference.
Foursomes, individual golfers, and sponsors are all welcome. Reserve your spot today at samilwaukee.org. That's samilwaukee.org.
Calling all High Life lovers, the Champaign of Beers is making history. They're selecting their very first mayor of the Champaign of Beers region. Share your story, throw your hat in the ring, and show us why you love High Life by visiting the Miller Brewery website. Must be 25 plus to sign up, 21 plus to enjoy. Celebrate responsibly.
Right now, more than 100,000 children waiting in foster care need our help. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is focused on finding them safe, permanent homes. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen. Tune into The Rich Eisen Show weekdays from 12 to 2, right here on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamara. Here's Jen Latta.
No Chewy, no Gabe on this fine Friday in southeastern Wisconsin. I could make the argument. I could make it. We've upgraded.
No, come on.
What?
It's just a joke.
When you put a legend in the chair,
Okay, can I help you with legends?
Can you help me with legends?
Yeah. There's one guy. You're in the same group. Gabe is national.
Yeah.
Okay, how often is Gabe on national?
Yeah. But there's something about your longevity.
Okay.
The success you've had
fine.
over many decades.
Yes. When somebody's national, they win.
No.
What? You're national.
No.
Win. What? I've done that. Not as often. I know how special that is.
What it sounds like is you don't know how special you are. That's what it sounds like.
No, I'm good. I'm old, but national trumps.
I'm good. I'm old. And I think that when you think about legends, Homer, those are two things that sort of go along with legends. Will Gabe Neitzel be a legend one day? Maybe.
Fine. Would
right?
I rather? Okay,
He's
which is
on
bigger?
that path.
Which is bigger, national or legend?
Legend.
Okay, all right.
Would you rather? Okay, here we go. How about if I said local legend? Does that feel better to you?
No, it feels good, but national is bigger. Come on, you're in the business. You start.
I'm just saying.
What is your dream?
From
your
a broadcasting standpoint,
Okay,
Joshy,
right.
help me out.
Okay.
Do we or do we not have a
agrees with
legend
me.
sitting in the chair
No,
today?
I agree with that.
But
he's
talking about you.
You said that was an upgrade.
Yeah.
And
Gabe
it's not
and Chewy are not
national.
here.
National trumps legend.
Well, we could put it on the Infinity X.
No, we
Series
don't
poll
have to.
this
Nobody
morning.
cares
No, that's right.
about
You don't want to see.
No,
you
I
don't want to see the
I'm
results.
fine
I know
being a
how this
legend,
shakes out.
But I remember, and I think you would agree, when you start in this business, you have a number of wishes or dreams. One is to some way be national. That's as big as you can get. I mean, I guess you could go global. I never thought about how big I was in Europe. And when you do it, you think, yeah, this is good, right?
Yeah, this is good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's all.
Homer is in the house today,
Yeah.
everybody. It's going to be a great Friday.
Difficult already. You're easier to deal with than Tausch.
Oh, if you think I can't handle difficult, I can handle
I
difficult.
know you can,
Yeah,
yes.
3 children, 1
Yes.
husband, 2 pets. I can handle
and your
difficult.
kids are a various range of ages, and yes, I agree. I know that totally. Yeah.
We will have Jason Wilde joining the program, talk a little Packers, talk a little Badgers. We will have Craig Karmazin, as always, joins us every single Friday here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. And we're going to talk to one of the people responsible for the new Uke documentary, which debuted this week, which is headed to theaters. I got to watch it last night. We're going to talk about that. And I want to start there for this reason, Holmes. I'm going to call him Holmes for the show, see how long it takes to bother him. I watched the documentary last night, and it occurred to me.
I would prefer Range because that's what Al McGuire called it.
Range?
Yes, Homer on the Range.
Homer on the Range. Got it.
It's weird. Go ahead.
I watched
Sorry.
the documentary last night, and it reminded me of how stinking close these Brewers teams have been over the last few years, right? Because they recapped the end of the 2023 season, right? They recapped the end of the 2024 season, right? So you're talking about the Arizona Diamondbacks. You're talking about the Mets. They actually don't show, but insinuate the my brain just stopped. The home run. So the Brewers hit the back-to-back home runs. Pete Alonso, thank you. Boom, brain. It's going to work today, I promise. The Pete Alonso home run, they show Bob Uecker sitting in the booth after he makes the call, and he says, that one had some sting on it. And then he just sits in the booth, Homer. And it's like he's reflecting on, oh, crap. That might be it. And it obviously was for Bob Uecker, who passed away the following winter. And
they knew this was the end.
Guys like Christian Yelich, who was aware of Uke's health situation, it's a big reason why he was so emotional in the clubhouse after that loss. And so
they wanted to win it for Uke.
Yeah. And it has had me thinking over the last 12 hours that that's why this team is in all-in mode, because they've been so close the last few years. 2023, 2024, 2025. Now it's 2026. Yesterday, there's a report from Adam McCalvey, who is a fantastic reporter for your Milwaukee Brewers, very plugged in, that says that the Brewers have checked in on Tarik Skubal and Mason Miller. We have had endless conversations about Skubal and the benefits of going out and getting him. Now, we've had to sit there, Homer, and wonder if the Tigers were actually going to make him available. But Mason Miller is another name who would be an incredible addition to this Brewers pitching staff. Not a starter, but a bullpen guy. If you had to choose between the two, which direction would you go?
I would be shocked if they did Miller. He has a number of years left. The cost would be off the charts, and that would really surprise me. I've thought of everything they would do with pitching would always be short term. Pitching's too expensive. That's why the Brewers have traded their pitchers, and he would be great, Skubal. But the issue is how many other teams are involved, how many other pitchers like him are available, and is the cost too high? If the Brewers don't do anything, I would just recommend people, I think it's because they're that confident in their young pitching and that we'll have it again next year, and maybe the availability of a veteran hotshot pitcher would be less expensive. So if they don't do something, to me, it's not because they don't want to go all in. They don't see this as a last chance.
Do you think it's likely that they don't go do something?
I think it's possible, yeah, if the cost is too high. Because they'll say, look, we have our young pitchers. It's not like we're losing any of them at the end of this year. They'll be back next year, and they'll be a year better, and we can make a run at it next year. This is not – now, I think you know him. Dario Melendez was on the show.
I heard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he made a great point that if they thought there's going to be a
Please
strike.
don't say that. Come on. 7:07 in the morning, and I got to hear Dario Melendez
He did?
made a great
Yes,
point.
he did. Yes.
What are we? Okay. All right. Well,
Okay.
you did it already, so
Well,
we can't take it back.
No, you can decide whether you agree because he made the point that if the Brewers think there's the possibility of a strike next year, they could change their attitude and be even more aggressive. But I'm sure they don't believe this is a one or done thing. This is, yes, everybody would love. And a year later, Miz is a year older. The other pitchers, some of them they have, could be a year better. So I do believe there's a limit. Now, if it doesn't happen, Antanasio will get the blame because he's cheap. But I would emphasize again, it would to me mean they're that confident in the following year or two to do it then when more pitchers might be available. How many people have been mentioned about the pitcher from Detroit? Like how many teams are interested? The more teams, the higher the price.
Yeah. Two distinctions between these two pitchers that we are discussing for the Milwaukee Brewers as well. Skubal is a bona fide rental. They would only have him essentially for this year. I don't think he's likely to re-sign with the Brewers, but never say never. Whereas Miller, they would have control over for a little bit longer. The right-handed closer, he would sort of really lock up that back end where McGill and Uribe
for
are.
years.
And that's why he may be more expensive, but you might be willing to make that long-term investment. And here's the thing that I keep going back to, Homer. The good point made by Dario Melendez.
He has another one, but I'm not
notwithstanding.
sure I'm going to present it that way. Seems to
Hey, listen,
edge
I
there.
wouldn't, but hey, you do you.
Right, yes.
Even though he's more expensive, you would have him for longer. I don't think there is an ouch button for the Milwaukee Brewers. I think the cupboard is so full when it comes to prospects because they have the number one farm system in the land that it would take an awful lot of bodies to leave Milwaukee's farm system in order for them to be like, that one actually hurt. Or to use the phrase that Uke used after that series, that one had some sting on it. I just don't, I think, and again, Joshy, you were saying that there's a report out there that some of these guys are untouchable. What was the list of the untouchables, the guys who the Brewers are unwilling to trade from the farm system?
Yeah, it's Jesus Mate, the Brewers' number one prospect and the number one prospect overall in baseball. It's Luis Pena, who is the second best prospect via the rankings. And then it's the two guys they've signed to long-term extensions that are now in the MLB in both Cooper Pratt and Luis Lara. That makes sense just because they're price controlled at a price the team would like, and those top two guys are just expected to be the top of the barrel type of prospect. And what we've seen change in recent years in the MLB is the top 10 prospects or your top prospect doesn't typically get dealt anymore. The prices have seemed to come down relatively. Now, Mason Miller went for a massive haul just last season when the Padres acquired him from the Athletics. But it does seem like the Brewers and people believe you won't have to give up everything you have to get one of these top-end rentals or prospects.
So that, to me, Homer, makes it feel like if you have that, wealth of riches, that you might be in more of a position to, quote, unquote, overspend for somebody who you think gets you that much closer to winning the World Series. And again, I'm pushing some of this through having watched the Uke documentary last night and seeing just how dang close. Again, I was there for it. I remember it. But when you see it back to back to back, it's like, oh, geez. And you can't help but wonder if Matt Arnold and company aren't feeling the same way of like, now we've got it. Now we're there. We have the best record in baseball. Although I didn't check to see what the Dodgers did. Were the Dodgers off or did they play last night?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Dodgers are the best team in baseball. They're playing the regular season like a preseason. So the factor also could be in how are the Dodgers? How healthy are they? But again,
Dodgers did slide ahead of the Brewers yesterday. And again, right now it's percentage.
The Dodgers are better than the Brewers. Brewers could have a record 10 games better. The Dodgers are better unless people are hurt, where that's limited them. And that's been the unfortunate part, that you now have a team that has all the money and the smarts. If the Dodgers hadn't been the Dodgers, the Brewers might have a World Series now.
So let's just assume that the Brewers brass are as smart as you are and know that the Dodgers are better right now.
They're smarter. Yes, they know
smarter, right? If
Way
you're
smarter.
Going to do the legend
And,
nuance thing
in
again
fact,
here.
that was another comment that Dario Melendez made.
Was it a good one?
How much the Dodgers are smart and rich. So he was on a roll. But go ahead. That's the last time I'll bring that up.
Assuming that they know what you know.
And they do, even more.
Wouldn't that
Again,
motivate
I think,
them to go out and make
I don't
a
know
move?
them that well, but part of being smart is recognizing that you're not that smart. And my point is so you give these people away, well, but you're really maybe not that sure who's going to be the best of them. So you want to keep more. Ron Wolf said years ago, that's why you'd get so many picks because you're not that smart. So we don't know the debate of, well, the Brewers don't want to give up these two, and Josh meant some of it, but all of that we don't know. I know we're not going to do that. He's too good. We're not willing to. They are where they are now because they haven't done dumb things letting people get away. They've, to me, made the decision that we're going to keep our everyday players. It's cheaper that you can do that, but the pitchers is too much. So they could do that, but I think they're hesitant to do everything for 1 year, saying, yeah, we're smart, but it's scary, but they can certainly do it if they choose to.
Homer in for Gabe and Chewy this morning. Let's, for the sake of this conversation, Homer, assume that the Brewers are going to make a move. Just for the sake of this conversation. We're not saying that they absolutely will. We're just saying for the sake of this conversation, let's assume they do. Of these two guys who we've mentioned this morning, Mason Miller or Tarik Skubal, which are the Brewers more likely to go get? Between those two guys, just given the independent situations, the starter versus the reliever, the rental versus control, who do you think the Brewers and the way that they have done business are more likely to go get?
I would say Skubal, but then again, how many teams are involved? What's that cost? They're going to judge. Say you want Skubal more, but the way you figured it, the deal for the reliever is a better deal than Skubal, but they need another starter. They just do. Woody getting hurt is just horrible. And it's nice to have a great closer, but you got to be ahead to use the closer. And I think another starter, because we don't know about Harrison either. That's too iffy. That, to me, the iffy part of the team is for the playoffs is starter, because you have 2 or 3 good starters, then you don't have to beat the Dodgers 4-0. You just got to win 4 out of 7, and so.
When you mentioned the closer situation, I can't help but think of the situation with Uribe and McGill, who has, said he wants to be the closer. If you bring in Miller, Joshy, is he immediately slotted as the closer, or do you sort of use those guys in a situational type deal?
Yeah, that would have to be something you work out with their agent and how they want to do it. But
they get it.
You would seemingly make Mason Miller the number.
They would be disappointed if he wasn't. The guy's unhittable. His numbers are.
Yes. Yeah. He barely gives up runs.
No,
he didn't give up home runs.
To this point, he's one of the greatest closers in the history of the game.
Yes. He's Hader-esque during that run, and it seems like he even seems to be elevated above the heights of what we watched with Josh
If
Hader.
there's a player bothered that they're not ahead of him, whoever it is, you get rid of him.
Well, and
they're an idiot.
But I do think that the Brewers have to be conscious of chemistry situations.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys mentioned Hader, thankfully. That is always going to be the guiding light, right? The North Star when it comes to how much a move might affect your chemistry that you don't think about, the unintended consequence
Because they didn't
of some of
think
these
their
moves.
team at that time was that soft and that it would be that bothersome. They're going to be that mad. We got this other guy here on the team. They understand what we're doing, how we do things, and they did go goofy. And
I like go goofy. That's a fun little phrase. They did go goofy.
Yeah. Well, you've been in locker rooms, and you hear people, and they're comfortable with the locker room, where they say it's just a little not what they want it to be. When the locker room is great, you can see it, feel it, and players talk about it, even if they don't say publicly.
Yep. 800-990-3776. Our Infinity Exteriors Twitter poll this morning is, who do you think the Brewers are more likely to acquire at the trade deadline? In this simulation, the Brewers are getting Tarik Skubal or Mason Miller. Who are they more likely to acquire based on? And again, everything I've been reading says the price would be pretty similar between these two guys. So do you like having the starting pitcher or do you like having the reliever that is controllable? Let us know, 800-990-3776. We got to take a break. We've got Jason Wilde coming up next. Want to talk to Jason about, obviously, your Green Bay Packers and also what it means to him to have the Wisconsin Badgers back on ESPN Milwaukee. If you're buying a new home, Great Midwest Bank will help guide you every step of the way. We have used Great Midwest Bank for our mortgages, and they always help us feel comfortable and confident in what can sometimes be a stressful situation. They've got local loan officers. From start to finish, you can bank with confidence. See all of their customizable products at greatmidwestbank.com. It's Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
A pair of disabled vehicles on I-43 South. First one at the ramp at 8th and Keith. Right shoulder's blocked due to a disabled vehicle. And 43 South at Highland Avenue. The right shoulder's was blocked as well. Traffic still moving slowly, though, down southbound I-43. It is starting to back up eastbound around the stadium interchange. Things are slowing down. They're still moving, however. And I-43 southbound about a half mile beyond the ramp to Howard Avenue. They're currently working on removing that disabled vehicle from that right shoulder, make things a little easier for you this Friday morning. Today, partly cloudy, a little warmer, a high of 80. Tonight, mostly clear, low of 63. Saturday, partly cloudy, warm and humid. Slight chance of storms late, high of 84. And on Sunday, hot and humid, chance of showers and storms, high of 91. Heat index near 100. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Andrew Zimmel on 94.5 ESPN.
Hi, thanks for calling Uline.
Wait, did the phone even ring?
Nope.
Okay, so you answered before the ring. But now you're going to put me on hold, right?
We don't do that here. We're real people answering the phone, ready to help with your order when you are.
Uline has thousands of quality products for your business and warehouse needs, always in stock, ready to ship same day, and backed by Uline's legendary 24/7 customer service. Uline, we warehouse for you.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Jen Latta. I've spent my career around athletes, coaches, and people looking for an edge. That's why I was so impressed when I visited Revival in Brookfield. From kickboxing-inspired fitness, Kaiser cutting-edge performance training, yoga, bar, Pilates, and a suite of recovery experiences that include red light therapy, infrared sauna, cold plunge, and contrast therapy, Revival is redefining fitness and wellness all under one roof. Limited Tier 1 memberships are now available while they last. Schedule a tour today at revivalbrookfield.com.
It's time now for the Sewer Ninjas Minute of the Day. From your local experts at Sewer Ninjas.
If you own an older home, you may have had a plumber out and heard them use the term CIPP and wondered, what exactly is that? CIPP stands for Cured in Place Pipe, also known as trenchless sewer lining. Instead of digging up and replacing your existing sewer pipe, we install a new pipe inside of the old one. This technology can eliminate cracks, prevent root intrusion, and restore the structural integrity of your sewer line, often with far less disruption to your yard. I'm Jordan with Sewer Ninjas, locally owned, Wisconsin proud, and here to help you protect your home.
This has been the Sewer Ninjas Minute of the Day, helping Wisconsin homeowners stay ahead of costly sewer problems, 1 minute at a time. Learn more today at sewerninjas.com.
ESPN Wisconsin's Gabe Neitzel here for Events by Design. If you're planning an annual meeting, leadership summit, product launch, or trade show, you already know the pressure is on. Events by Design takes those high-stake moments and turns them into immersive experiences that energize your audience and elevate your brand. They handle everything: designing, planning, production, ensuring your event is executed seamlessly. No stress, no scrambling, just a memorable experience that delivers. Get started today. Just search online. Events by Design. They design, you party.
Ready? Down! Put! All Packers, all the time.
He was a field-tilting player, and the reason why Gabe and many others are so concerned is that This guy's on the field. He changes the offensive dynamic. They are a different offense when he is there.
Okay, most of the time.
You know, Homer calls Matt LaFleur soft all the time. Matt LaFleur is like Vince Lombardi compared to me.
It's Jason Wilde on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Jason Wilde on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy is brought to you by Exterior Pros. Ready to tackle your home improvement project? Exterior Pros and Baths is giving $3,000 off roofing, siding, windows, or bath remodels this month. Visit extpros.com.
Jason Wilde hanging out with us here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Good morning, Jason. How are you today?
I'm great, everybody. How are you?
We're doing great. Before we get to the green and gold, let's talk about the Badgers being back on ESPN Milwaukee. I saw your post yesterday on Twitter. Oh, what a great, what would you call it? Time machine, trip back on memory lane. What does it mean to you to be able to be a part of the Badgers team again?
Yeah, for folks that don't use Twitter, and I think there's an increasingly high number of those, I grew up in Milwaukee. I got a stuffed Bucky Badger that I still have when I was 4. I always wanted to go to Madison. I was fortunate enough to be able to get in. It was a lot easier to get in back then than it is now.
Wait a minute. You just can't get away with that when I'm working. Come on. You were number 1 in your class.
I forgot you were there.
Why do you do that?
I forgot you were there.
You could have gone to any school in the country you wanted.
No, I got turned down by Michigan.
Stand correct.
Like, I don't even know why I applied, and they're so smug at Michigan. But yeah, I didn't get in there. I got in everywhere else I applied, but I was never going to go anywhere other than Madison. Anyway,
yes.
It's just such a important piece of who I am to have gone there. My freshman year was Barry Alvarez's first year as the head coach. My senior year was the 93 team that surprised everyone and went to the Rose Bowl and won it. As you saw, I shared a photo of me standing at midfield at the Rose Bowl with my all denim outfit and my permed curly hair. But I was just so thrilled that the Badgers are back where they belong in Milwaukee, and I'm really proud of our team. You know, we get to do some really cool stuff. I've been with GKB since 2003. And full-time since 2009. And when I look at, I remember when we got the old guy sitting next to you and I was like, God, we're doing big things now because he is the GOAT. And we've done so many big things since then that this is just the latest. So I'm really excited. And as you could tell from that, I was excited to share the news that everyone was sharing yesterday. But at the same time, like, I know Luke Fickell's going to be on the show today. I am not, so I'm curious to see what he has to say. I'll be listening, but football's really important, and they have to make sure that is trending in the right direction, and we'll see if Luke Fickell and Sean Eichhorst and everyone else over there at 1440 Monroe Street makes that happen.
Homer, you want to get in on this?
Yeah, I want to know, do we still talking Badgers?
You can talk about whatever you want, Homer. You're the legend. Remember?
Okay. What is your thought, and what's the proper way to assess Luke Fickell? I have stated that this is his first year. And that, I also stated that I would have quit last year and sued the university for lying to me on how much money I was going to get. But I think that it's been unfair to judge him based on how much money they had relative to other schools. The word that came out was they were bottom third. And so that this is the first year to really judge how he is when he's competitive, to compare how well are you doing when you have money. I haven't necessarily gotten any agreement based on people who follow. But anyway, I'm curious to your thought, given all the changes that are occurring, and athletic director, how you would judge Luke Fickell now.
Yeah, I don't. It's never just one thing, right? like, there's no doubt that money has become the overriding deciding factor for success. Now, obviously, you have to spend the money correctly. You can have lots of it, but if you squander it on players that end up not being worth the investment, then you're still going to have less than ideal results. I would say this. I don't think there's any question that that was a factor in the way things have gone. And I say this as someone who covered Chris McIntosh, who knows Chris McIntosh. Obviously, Tausch played with him and is good friends with him. I just don't understand how they didn't understand the landscape of football. I understand that, the day that he officially took over as the athletic director was the first day of the NIL era. But I'm not quite sure I understand how they were as inept as they were when other schools were not. And so again, that is water under the bridge, over the dam at this point. And I'm eager to see what Sean Eichhorst does. The thing that I would say about Luke Fickell, and the reason why I am cautiously optimistic, is that everything you said there is very fair. But again, all of his success, including taking Cincinnati to the college football playoff, was in the pre-NIL era. And so I don't have any demonstrative evidence that he can win in the NIL era with money either. So we'll see. And I do think that they have a better handle on it now. I know he talked about some of the missteps that he had early in his career when he was on with us the last time in his career in Madison, just because of, the way they went about things, and he felt better about their structure and their approach. But the bottom line is nobody cares about any about that. Like, they care about winning, and winning, the pressure that's on the football program in today's college landscape is even greater than it was when Alvarez took over. Because now you have the influx of money deciding whether you succeed, and it also decides whether all the other programs that rely on you succeeding are able to succeed as well. So obviously I hope that is resolved and things change. I know the schedule seems a little more palatable, but I just, it's kind of like when I talk about Jordan Love and about this season that's upcoming, like, if it doesn't go the way that you want it to, it doesn't make him a bad quarterback. And if the Badgers don't go, 9-3 or whatever it ends up being, like, it doesn't make him a bad coach, but the results are the results. This is a pivotal year for a lot of people in Wisconsin football, both professionally and collegiately.
Jason Wilde joining us on the Yingling guest hotline. He mentioned he is off his show today, but Matt LePay will be co-hosting with Tausch and Jesse. And as you mentioned, Luke Fickell joining the show today at 11 a.m.
Can I just suggest, I have one question for Jason. It'll be short, because you mentioned he's filling in here. Brian Bulaga was not happy last night because while Jason was off, he's filled in on some shows, but he didn't fill in with Brian Bulaga where he normally is on Thursday nights. There seems an inconsistency there of when he's off and which shows he's on, like this one versus. I'm just trying to help Jason out because, Bulaga gets mad at you. You never know.
Sounds like you're trying to throw him under the bus. I don't know.
I'm letting him know. Clearly he wasn't listening. I'm just letting him know that Brian, who doesn't complain much, did make it clear that he, even when he's off, does come on other shows.
Yeah, I usually do that. In fact, this is the first time I've ever tried to do that. I'm going to just tell you the truth. Joshy, are you ready for me to throw you under the bus?
You sure can.
All right. So I had told last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday I was off, and I didn't do anything on any shows. And that was my intention this week as well. And Joshy and I had a little miscommunication. So he called me on Tuesday. I was doing what I'm doing right now.
It's not your fault, Jason. I don't want to go on. I just want to. There's no need to continue this. We can.
No, but I did want to clarify. Well, first of all, I wanted to blame Josh because that's always good. And then secondly, I actually last night I was thinking, maybe I will call Homer and Bulaga and surprise them and come on at my normal time. and then I got distracted by something else and I forgot. So it's a fair criticism. I will take that up with Brian, but I just want to be clear that it was never my intent to do any shows this week. And then Josh, he kind of changed that. So it was nothing against you or Brian. Certainly nothing against Brian. Maybe something
Jen,
against you. But that's
apologize for bringing it up. And
No, it's fine.
It didn't serve my purpose.
So Joshy and I did have a little chit chat yesterday as well, and it was like, oh, Jen and Homer are doing the show on Friday. We might benefit from having Jason Wilde's expertise and knowledge in the first hour of the show. Do you think Jason would come on and chit chat a little Badgers Packers with us? I believe that might be how we got to where we are right now.
There was a little bit of that
I am
involved.
happy to help. I would also quickly
A
add
little
this.
bit of that. Yeah. I remember that. A little bit of that.
I would also add this. I don't like not being on the other shows. So I tried as an experiment and also to placate Paula, who gets a little annoyed with me that I say I'm not working and then I'm out, obviously always working, which again, I'm not digging trenches in 100-degree temperatures. I got a pretty good gig that I get to live every day. But I tried this and I go through withdrawals. Like my body clock at 5:15 or closer to 5:20 on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm expecting a call to be on with Homer. So this was experimental, and I would say that next off season, when I take a couple days off from the show, I will continue to do the other shows because I don't like it.
Jason, before we let you
thanks
go,
for asking.
Training camp right around the corner. In fact, I believe the first preseason game is less than 3 weeks away, which is wild to think about. CBS Sports put out a, wait for it, list.
Love those.
Love those, especially this time of year, by the way, where they ranked the best first-round picks since 2020, and Jordan Love is number 5 on the list. He is behind Joe Burrow, Drake May, Justin Jefferson, and Jackson Smith and Jigba. I find that interesting, and the thing that I find interesting about the list is everybody else that has been a first-round pick for the Packers is ranked significantly lower. In fact, the next first-round pick for the Green Bay Packers on this list is Devontae Wyatt, who just got paid again by the Green Bay Packers at 90. Lucas Van Ness, 106. Jordan Morgan, 108. Matthew Golden, 112. Quay Walker, 141. Eric Stokes, 151. How should we interpret that data, that so many of the Green Bay Packers' first-round picks are considerably lower on this list, almost outside the top 100?
Yeah, through the prism of Ron Wolf, who also did not knock all of his first-round picks out of the park, and neither did Ted, by the way, Ted Thompson. But the measure of a really good general manager is how he accounts for his misses by hitting elsewhere. And Ron Wolf was the GOAT at third-round picks. At the same time, Goody's third-round picks have all largely been disappointments. They re-signed Sean Ryan, but they also benched him last year. He's had, as he put it, a wild ride, and that's a very good way to put it. Tucker Kraft is a star-spangled, awesome third-round pick, but the rest of them have not really made up for the shortcomings in the first round. Now, he has some pretty darn good second-round picks. Homer's guy, Edger and Cooper. Obviously, Javon Bullard, who I think is going to be a really good player, and is on his way after his first 2 seasons. But being a good GM is you're not going to get everything right. What are you going to do to fix the things you got wrong? And I think Goody has been good, not great at that. And it's why you see kind of people looking at their roster with varying degrees of opinions, because I look at them and think, man, if they're healthy, they got enough good players to really succeed. But you also, it's part of your job to make sure you got really good depth for those times when those guys aren't healthy. And it's not to the degree of some other seasons where I just was like, God, I don't know how good these guys are going to be. But like when we did the Summerfest show, Strofe said something about how I could see these guys going 6-11, and I could see them going 14-3. And I'm not sure that the variance is that wide, but I just think it's going to be a really, really interesting season. Obviously, we kick it off on Wednesday with the first practice. But they got some really good players. Goody's done a good job, but I just don't feel like he's done as good of a job as some Packers fans who blame Matt LaFleur for their failings and don't criticize Goody for them. I think both those guys have done good jobs, but doing a good job is not usually enough to win a Super Bowl, and that's what everybody's waiting for.
Jason, we appreciate you hanging out with us this morning, taking some time on your week off to share your insights. Always appreciate it. Have a great day. We'll talk to you again soon.
Anything for Joshy. All right, guys, take care. Be good.
It's Jason Wilde. Won't be on his show today, but listen anyway, because they will have Matt LePay and Luke Fickell joining the program. We'll take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Roll on right after this.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
I-43 south at Highland Avenue, right shoulder still blocked due to a disabled vehicle. Traffic moving smoothly around that, however. I-43 northbound between Burleigh and Capitol is facing some slowdowns. I-94 westbound just past Sunny Slope Road, the right shoulder blocked due to a disabled vehicle. And downtown, you're seeing backups between East Mason Street and East State Street. Traffic is brought to you by MoMA. MoMA is a new name connecting trusted local providers like OIW, SMOC, and Innovative Pain, getting you back in action with expert evaluation, innovation treatments provided in their offices, the surgery center, ortho laser, or MOSH. Call or walk in today. Today, partly cloudy, a little warmer, a high of 80. Tonight, mostly clear, low of 63. Saturday, partly cloudy, warm and humid, slight chance of storms late, high of 84. And on Sunday, hot and humid, chance of showers and storms, high of 91. Heat index near 100. Weather is brought to you by Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more. For custom apparel that helps your team, business, or event stand out, choose Big Frog. Visit bigfrog.com/Mequon. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Andrew Zimmel on 94.5 ESPN.
Every homeowner has a list. That roof, those windows, that bathroom you've been meaning to update. If you've been putting off home improvements, you're not alone. At Exterior Pros and Baths, they help homeowners upgrade their homes with beautiful roofing, siding, windows, doors, gutters, and bathrooms built to last. Right now, save up to $3,000 on your next project. Don't wait until a small problem becomes an expensive one. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com. Exterior Pros and Baths. Done right, built to last.
Summer and baseball go hand in hand, and as a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers, Carbless is helping fans swing into full flavor all season long. Whether you're at the ballpark, tailgating with friends, or catching the game from home, Carbless delivers bold flavor in a convenient canned cocktail that's ready wherever summer takes you. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 100 calories, gluten-free and full of flavor. Carbless. Find your bliss near you at drinkcarbless.com.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank. And while buying a home is a big deal, it certainly doesn't have to be and shouldn't be a stressful experience. At Great Midwest Bank, we combine competitive rates, fast pre-approvals, and honest advice from knowledgeable loan officers to help you every step of the way through your home buying or building journey. For 90 years, our customers have been part of the GMB family. Experience a state of banquility at GreatMidwestBank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
It's a summer of big wins with WinFest at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Just play with your Potawatomi Rewards card for entries and your chance to win cash and reward play all summer long. Then keep the excitement going because all your monthly drawing entries roll over into the WinFest final drawings on September 25th, where you could win cars, dream vacations, free play, and cash. Don't miss out on WinFest, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
How much time have you spent searching your garage for a tool or a piece of equipment that you know is in there somewhere? Hey, it's Jen Latta from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Closets by Design helps homeowners transform cluttered garages with custom cabinets, wall storage systems, and flooring solutions built around the way you live. I love what they did with my closet, and now I understand why so many homeowners trust them with their garages too. Right now, you can get 40% off and ask them about special financing options. Schedule your free in-home design consultation today at closetsbydesign.com and tell them Jen sent you.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I mean, pumpkin seeds.
No, little suckers. They might be. What did you say before, Jen?
Sesame, but those are white.
No,
white.
These aren't white. No, this isn't on the outside. This is on the inside.
Seeds on the inside.
Oh,
yeah.
So you got some sort of
scrotum.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Are you chasing big jackpots and nonstop excitement? Potawatomi Casino Hotel is your place to play. They got fast payouts. You'll never miss out on a jackpot because the jackpots are listed all over the screens in the casino, so you know when to hit the machines. They've got over 2,600 slot machines, including ones straight off the Vegas Strip. And this is what I love about them, guys. Play your way. Denominations from 1 cent, that's me, all the way up to $100. Whether you enjoy classic reels or the latest interactive games, there is always something new to discover at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Want to get into this with the range. Is it the range or is it just range?
Just range.
Just range. By the end of the show, I will nail it. Homer hanging out with me here this morning on a Friday.
You're only the second person to ever call me range.
Well, you told me to.
No, I
It's
said
not like I'm taking liberties with it.
No, you can do whatever you want, which you do anyway. But I just mentioned when you said Holmes or whatever it was that was only the second other name that.
Yeah.
And I never asked.
It's Homer joining me here, the legend, the GOAT. I called him Holmes earlier. He said actually it's range. Homer on the range. And who did you say called you that?
Al McGuire.
Al McGuire. Also.
And never informed anybody until he's yelling range. I'm going, well, what's wrong with Al? I don't know. Ask him. Range what? Oh, no, that's you. Homer on the range.
What a good story.
Yep.
So we've got an Al McGuire mention on the show this morning. That's awesome. We asked Jason Wilde just a few moments ago about the CBS Sports list. Homer, how do you feel about lists? It's the season of lists, right? ESPN.
Oh, I love them. Well, then you just look at people, but you understand a list is a list. And I don't follow them closely enough to know. I want to know how people's history is on lists.
Yeah.
Like,
are you good at them?
Yes. And if they are, then their list means a little bit more to me than other people. And I don't know that anyone does that. So I don't get the range of lists tell me what's a legitimate belief. Like the debate over Jordan Love and Caleb Williams is a legitimate discussion, regardless of who you pick, the team you like, or other things. It's when you just go, just like, what are you thinking? As if when someone said that a walk-off home run in baseball wasn't a list, isn't
that exciting? Right.
And that's like saying to me 2 and 2 is 5. Because I've never heard anyone say that in my life. The only thing has been, depending on if you like a sport, I'm sure there's something in men's lacrosse that's really exciting and probably isn't going to make the list to me. But I can't think of anything in sports better than a walk-off home run. But so there
Don't
are
worry,
some
they
lists.
took it on the chin.
Those are the lists that you're like, what? But other than that, to me, is what's there makes sense, even if you don't agree.
So the list that we're referring to is them ranking the best first-round picks since 2020, right. And Jordan Love is 5th on the list behind Burrow, May, Jefferson, and Jackson Smith and Jigba. And I think there is value here in this list in so much as if there is a position you want to hit with a first-round pick, Homer.
Yeah, that's
quarterback is the one. Right? So to me, it's like, okay, you may not think that Brian Gutekunst is that great at drafting. You could argue that that's not good for a GM, but they're not going to hit on all of them. We have said that. What is the success rate? What is your hit rate? That varies from year to year. What is the average in the league? That also changes pretty regularly. But the point is, Brian Gutekunst hit on his quarterback, if you believe the veracity of this list.
No, there's no one's going to argue that. My only discussion, and this was, as Jason alluded to with Ron Wolf, I really don't care alone how you do in the first round. If they had taken Jordan Love in the second round, or, when you take Tom or whatever, the key is you got a good quarterback. And as Ron Wolf would say when they asked about Donald Driver, you took him in the 7th round. Yeah. Wow. He goes, well, if I was that smart, I'd have taken him in the first round because that's how good he was. So the fact that they got Jordan Love, and that's why when you look at the first round, how has the guy put the team together? How has Goody put the team together? And you're right. The most important thing any general manager does is quarterback. And he's done it great. And the timing of when they did it has given them a chance to be really good. Well, then all your other picks determine how really good you are. But yeah.
So let me ask you the same question that I was alluding to with Jason, which is it concerning at all that the rest of these first-round picks since 2020 are pretty far down on the list, right? This reminds me, and I know I use this analogy a lot on this program, but my dad was a cross-country coach, and he used to say, if you want to win the meet, you got to have your number one runner in the top, he would say 3, but top 10. Number 2 in the top 20. Number 3 in the top 30. Number 4 in the top 40, and basically blah, blah, blah. And if you do that, assuming every other team isn't using
It's more
the
than
same
just having the best runner in the race.
Correct.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, Devontae Wyatt, Lucas Van Ness, Jordan Morgan, Matthew Golden, Quay Walker, Eric Stokes, all between 90 and 150. Is that concerning at all that he didn't, quote unquote, hit on any of these other first-round picks outside of Jordan Love?
Concerning in that those are the things that make a team a little bit better than the Packers are. The fact that we discussed that means, it's a little bit of a concern. If you have great picks after that, then it's not as big a deal. But the Packers would be better and have the players like, say for example, Edgerrin Cooper. I thought he'd be if you get players, as Wolf said, that are field tilters and they're not in the first round, that covers up your first round picks. But arguably, I mean, McKinney, they didn't draft him. So what? He's a field tilter. But yes, I think when you assess what would make them a little bit better, which they need to be to win, that's certainly an area that you would look at.
No, I think it's a good point by you. So could you take like Edgerrin Cooper, who was a second-round pick, but we believe is, to your point, what was the phrase that we used the other day? We were talking about difference makers, right? Isn't that what Gabe said, Joshy?
Yes.
Okay. He's a difference maker. So you take Edgerrin Cooper from the second round and you replace Devontae Wyatt, who they've got on this list at 90. Okay, that feels good. You got this difference maker in the second round. Maybe if you can go through and do that, I think
like
you're
the
in a
wide
pretty
receivers,
good spot.
they've always said the Packers haven't drafted a great first rounder. So what? Check the people they drafted after the first round. They've done a phenomenal job drafting wide receivers.
I just sometimes worry that these GMs, and I'm not talking about Goody specifically, but these GMs, they overthink it. And they go, I'm gonna blow everybody's mind with this guy that nobody's talking about from this smaller school, and we're gonna shock the world with. Sometimes, Homer, it's okay to just go out and get the best players. Sometimes it's okay to be like, this guy played in the SEC. He was a world beater. He was in the running for whatever the awards were for his position. It's okay to go out and get those guys. Do you agree, Joshy?
Absolutely. There is a video that's made its rounds on Twitter of the Jacksonville Jaguars before their second-round pick of Nate Borkircher, the guy who has like 30 career catches in college football. And he says to his team of scouts around him, "Are you ready to shock the world?" He says those words verbatim, which feels like the exact opposite way to approach the draft. What do you mean shock the world? You're admitting this probably isn't worth the pick you're making.
Yeah, it's one of those ego exercises, right? Where it's like, watch how smart I am. And look, if you are convicted about it, that's great, but it's a big gamble, you know?
It is worth wondering in a draft where you missed terribly in the first round and then hit great on the second round, where you want to say, so explain that. What
happened here?
Yes, and it can. I mean, they've said it about other people, you know, that. And my answer is I don't know, but I assume they would say this is really hard. So you miss some, make some, but yeah, you'd like to go. What were you thinking? I mean, Van Ness is a great example, and there are other risks, but he didn't play that much in college. So there are different people, like in quarterbacks. I don't know, maybe it's Sison who says the key to a college quarterback is you got to take one who started 30 games or something. And I think there's some evidence for that, or, you know, things like that you know the answer is going to be when you take someone that early. There's something about that player that makes you think he could be special. And how much of a risk is there? I don't know, but yeah. Explain those two picks. One stunk. And the other one was great, and you took the other one so much. How many picks later, or even in the third round?
I was very curious when you said that. You mentioned the 30 starts. There are several notable quarterbacks who have had fewer than 20 college starts and did have NFL careers. Mitch Trubisky is obviously the one that comes to everybody's mind. Anthony Richardson only had 13 starts in college.
And I'm saying relative to where they were drafted.
Yeah.
Like, were they a successful draft pick or unsuccessful? Those who bring this up, I think, mentioned those as they were picked way too early because the people did not factor this one in. Whether it's right or not, it's just
something that's discussed now.
Dwayne Haskins only had 14 starts at Ohio State, RIP. Mark Sanchez had 16 starts at USC, and then obviously went on to have
The other big one is Trey Lance.
17 starts at North Dakota State.
Yeah. So you also have his competition. He also attempted a insanely low amount of passes just because of the way they run their offense, and then didn't start a lot of games.
Kyler Murray and Mac Jones round out this list, 17 starts each at Oklahoma and Alabama, respectively. We'll take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Continue with the Homer Hour-ish. What? After this.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today. More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN. The Homer Hour with special guests every day from 5 to 6.
That's why I said the toughest part to me for the Packers is that the division is, I think, better than it's been.
The best 60 minutes of your day happens on the Homer Hour.
So the issue is, and I'm working on the T-shirt right now, this season is very simple.
This guy.
Got to win the damn division.
Weekday afternoons from 5 to 6 on 94.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. 25 years ago, a generational Bucks team made an unforgettable run.
This is the place to be.
Light It Up, narrated by Jim Paschke, is the new season of the Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. This is the oral history of the 2000-2001 Milwaukee Bucks and their run to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Absolute bedlam here at the Bradley Center.
Listen now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Wisconsin State Fair turns 175 this summer, and we only get better with age. Join us for 11 days of fun, iconic traditions, grand champion moments, and food that's absolutely worth the hype. Celebrate 175 years together and get your tickets today at wistatefair.com. Wisconsin State Fair, presented by T-Mobile, August 6th through 16th. We'll see you there.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code CASH to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code CASH to borrow up to $10,000. Use code CASH to borrow up to $10,000.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This summer, escape to Lake Lawn Resort, where lake life meets resort luxury. Nestled along the shores of beautiful Delavan Lake, Lake Lawn is the perfect destination for a weekend getaway, family vacation, or even a few days to simply unplug and recharge. Enjoy boating and water sports, lakeside golf at Majestic Oaks, relaxing spa treatments, exceptional dining, and breathtaking sunsets along 2 miles of shoreline. Whether you're looking for adventure on the water or a quiet lakeside retreat, the perfect Wisconsin summer is waiting at Lake Lawn Resort. Visit LakeLawnResort.com to book your stay today.
ESPN Wisconsin's Gabe Neitzel here for Events by Design. You want people to actually show up for your community event, charity gala, or nonprofit fundraiser while making a memorable impression on them. Events by Design turns those moments into meaningful experiences that engage your audience and bring your mission to life. They manage everything: designing, planning, production. No stress, no loose ends. Just an experience your guests remember, exponentially benefiting your cause. Get started today. Just search online. Events by Design. They design, you party.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Again, look, give the guy credit for consistency.
I love it. I love balls.
Every time Giannis
Wish I had
challenges
more.
him to,
Right, can we make sure we
Well, you
just
don't need to
will
beat
for
that.
future reference, just clip that, save it.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Your Milwaukee Brewers back in action this weekend after getting the day off. I mentioned that the Dodgers won last night, so another chance for the Brewers to grab some wins as they face the Colorado Rockies at AmFam Field. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Jacob Mizorowski will be on the hill for one of the games. Is it Sunday's game, perhaps, that we have Jacob Mizorowski slotted for?
He is scheduled to start on Sunday.
So here's what's interesting to me, and I've been thinking about this when I take my own betting into account. If they've still got him kind of on a short leash, right? They're continuing to ramp him up after the All-Star break. Those strikeout numbers change, right, Joshy? You're with me there at the old Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Absolutely, they do.
So we're going to do the contest that we do here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy for our guy, Jacob Mizorowski. And, Joshy, what are we looking for here?
Yes, 800-990-3776. We're looking for callers 2, caller 4, and caller 6. You will be randomly assigned a strikeout total for the Miz's next start on the mound against the Colorado Rockies. And there is a range. So you can be assigned either 6 to 8 strikeouts. You can be assigned 9 to 11 or 12 plus. We've had, I think at this point, everyone hit but 12 plus thus far, which is fascinating. I thought that one was going to have a lot more range added to it, but it's just a fun way to sort of get involved here and get yourself a chance to win some Brewers tickets for later in the season.
Homer, have you been on board with the Brewers' approach to Jacob Mizorowski this second half of the season?
Yes. Well, I'm on board of everything they do. I call myself a sheep. But yeah, whatever they do, I'm going to support it. I think they've been incredibly good. The difficulty that everybody understands is, and people that have been in baseball, that all pitchers get hurt. So you don't want to say with Miz, it's not a question of if, but when. But nobody wants to say that. So they're all trying to figure out and have all these systems, but they've always had that you need to only increase a certain number of innings. And so, yeah, I don't. But it's a pain. I think it was John Smoltz who said you hope he throws in a different manner that maybe he won't get hurt. But that's not. They deal with that all the time, and given how great he is, what do you do? Well, it's hard, but yeah, generally, you want to rest him, and they don't give us all that information. But it's fundamentally there's a certain number you only want to increase each year. So I don't know who mentioned it, but that he didn't. He started at 104 and then dropped down the last outing to where at the end he was 90, whatever. Said, yeah, you want to watch that. That's not disturbing, but you want to observe it because that's what happens when, all these things occur that we've never heard of before. Like tired arm. What? We just started watching baseball? Nobody talked about tired arm for how many years?
Dead arm?
Yeah, dead arm.
Mm-hmm.
When did that start? Dead arm or, it was just never brought up. And I don't remember pitchers all of a sudden missing a start. Dead arm. What? His arm's sore. Well, their arms were always sore. You'd see them on these huge bags after so something's going on.
I guess my hope is that he's one of these freaks of nature.
Yes.
That his body can just handle that level of whatever it is, torque, velocity, whatever it is that, defies logic. And we have seen those types of athletes in other sports. I always go to Michael Phelps as my example. What Michael Phelps was doing in the pool, people were like, he can't do it. How could he do that? And it's like, well, there's a lung capacity here that most people don't have. Oh, and by the way, his feet are basically flippers. Did you ever consider that maybe that's a big, you know what I mean? There's little things that made him.
And Miz does things differently. given his body. So that's certainly the hope and a possibility, yeah.
Our contest today, the Mizorowski contest, is brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Wisconsin Toyota dealer to check out Toyota's incredible lineup like the Tacoma, the Camry, and the RAV4. Toyota, let's go places. Stick around. We've got someone responsible for the Uke documentary joining the show right after this.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Good morning. We're clear coming eastbound on I-94 up until the stadium interchange. We're starting to see some slowdowns both east and westbound around the interchange. Traffic is still moving for you, however, this Friday morning. I-43 northbound between North Avenue and Burleigh, you're still facing some slowdowns there. And the Harley interchange, good to go. Green all around on this Friday morning. Today, partly cloudy, a little warmer, high of 80. Tonight, mostly clear, low of 63. Saturday, partly cloudy, warm and humid, slight chance of storms late, high of 84. And on Sunday, hot and humid, chance of showers and storms, high of 91. Heat index near 100. Weather is brought to you by Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, Road America. IMSA is up and coming July 30th to August 2nd. Get your tickets today and check out the full season schedule at roadamerica.com. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Andrew Zimmel on 94.5 ESPN.
Dear baseball fans, Toyota's 2026 lineup is racing for the pennant. The rugged Tacoma's got upper deck power and available four-wheel drive. The RAV4 is an all-hybrid all-star with versatility that leads the league. And the all-hybrid Camry hits it out of the park with impressive miles per gallon. No matter which Toyota you choose, you're driving an MVP. Visit Toyota.com or your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places.
Some companies build projects. At Professional Construction, Inc., we build relationships.
That means showing up early, taking pride in the details, and having each other's backs, on and off the job site.
We're looking for skilled carpenters who really care about their craft and want to be part of a team.
Not just another paycheck, but a place where the people you work with actually matter.
If you work hard, take pride in what you build, and want to join a tight-knit crew, then we'd love to meet you.
Apply today at professionalconstructioninc.com.
This is Brian Balaga. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN.
94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee. A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamara. Here's Jen Latta.
The Bob Uecker documentary opens exclusively in 17 Marcus theaters today. Now, there were some sneak previews at many theaters last night. I got to watch the documentary last night. I know the premiere was a few nights ago as well. And I will tell you this. I thought that I loved Bob Uecker as much as I could possibly love him. This documentary made me love him more. And maybe it's that over the course of an hour and a half, they go through his journey of being a kid from Milwaukee and playing for the hometown team and then not playing and wanting to be traded and then going to St. Louis and winning a ring with the Cardinals. But I got to tell you, Homer, when it comes to local celebrities, legend in our midst, all of those types of things, it's hard for anybody to top Uecker around these parts.
No, he's the greatest Milwaukee representative ever. He's number one. If he's not number one, tell me who is. He's number one.
And you mentioned Al McGuire earlier. Now, I know Al wasn't from here,
no,
but
he's
obviously
bigger than Al McGuire. He transcended in there aren't many benefits of being old. But that's one. My interest in the documentary, as I'll watch it, but it's what my parents said when the great movie came out about Pearl Harbor. They said, we don't have to go. I go, why not? They go, we lived it. And I know everything there is to know about Uecker from watching him on The Tonight Show. Part of it was learning the Milwaukee part of it, but it's impossible
to overstate. It's like Paul Hornung. People don't understand. The Packers were Paul Hornung and the Green Bay Packers. Just like Euchre, he was so big. I mean, Johnny Carson, like, when you were that big with Johnny Carson, you're bigger than the president. And so all the other things in terms of his ability and stuff like that, and this phenomenal announcer that he was, a baseball announcer, because he understood the pace of the game, to me, better than anybody who ever did it. There's nothing you could say to overstate how incredibly special he is, to Milwaukee. It should be the biggest statue.
They talked to a number of people here in Milwaukee, BA, Rock, Sophia, all of the play-by-play radio voices. They talked to Atanasio. They talked to a lot of people about Uke. This documentary was being made while Uke was still with us, which I think is advantageous as well, as opposed to the alternative, which is to be putting the thing together posthumously.
I was a little disappointed I wasn't asked to be in it because I have a great Bob Uecker story, because I knew him. I would run into him because Kent Sommerfeld is the producer, and then he would see me when I was on Channel 12, and what he'd say, "Hey, Bud, how you doing? Hey, Bud." I don't know. So when he died, I said, I always thought that was cool. And John McLaughlin came on and said, "Homer, I got good news and bad news." I go, "What?" He said, "When he didn't know your name, he called everybody Bud." I go, "That's okay."
And so what was the good news?
I don't remember that.
You just clung to the that part of the story. There were several moments that made me emotional watching the documentary. And again, if you're interested in watching the Uke documentary, it is available exclusively at 17 Marcus Theaters in the area.
See it. The younger you are, the more important. The how you can explain how huge he was. And then aside from everybody knowing him as the announcer and growing up and listening and everything.
Well, and the word loyalty has been thrown around an awful lot lately here in these parts, hasn't it? As we went through the Giannis saga, there was talk about, what is loyalty worth?
This is going to be really good. Yes, it's huge. Great example.
And Uke was incredibly loyal and committed to the city of Milwaukee, to the state of Wisconsin. And they do talk about George Steinbrenner trying to woo him to the Yankees. And they do talk about Bud Selig coming in and saying, "What are you doing?"
He took less. Doesn't matter how much he made. He took less to stay here. And there is a current Bob Uecker, too. And that's Brian Anderson doing exactly the same thing. But yes, that's loyalty when you pick a place in which you sacrifice something in order to stay there. It's not as good as something else. I don't care.
And I think there was value in hearing from his co-workers, from Mr. Belvedere, people who he worked with in Hollywood, who said that he was kind of the class clown. He made everybody laugh. He made everybody feel comfortable. That is the Uke that we knew and that we saw every day at the ballpark. And then there was the emotional part of that he knew he was sick and he was going through treatment, didn't want everyone to know, told a very select few people, Christian Yelich, one of the people that they do show him, sharing it with him in the clubhouse, and then, sort of push it through the prism of those playoff series, that playoff series to be specific, and how it gutted the team and those who were aware of Uke's health situation when they didn't get it done. And the scene of Uke sitting in the booth after the loss, and I said it earlier in the show, that one has some sting on it, was emotional. Because he just sort of pushed himself away from the desk. You can see it, right? You can kind of see pushing himself away from the desk, taking it all in, and sort of realizing and maybe accepting the finality of it all. And I think as somebody who went on that journey in the documentary and in person, as we were watching the Brewers fall short in 2024, it had some sting on it.
And I would emphasize the sting was partially the disappointment he felt for the players. The part of him that they know is how much he was a player, a former player, which means he understood how hard it was, and he had a great deal of respect for the people in it and was always very positive to the players. And I'm sure the sadness he felt was partially to players like Yelich, like, I've lived this. I've experienced a championship somewhere else, and it's so sad that they haven't gotten there yet. He was incredibly, and some of these things I learned more from Ken Summerfield, always incredibly positive to every player. Why? Because he lived it. He knew how hard it was and how special it was, and never lost that in terms of being a player. He underestimated how good he was. He couldn't hit, but there weren't that many teams. To make a team and be a backup catcher, you had to have way more skill than he ever sold.
And I think what you're saying about him being optimistic and positive and kind of pouring into these guys takes on a whole nother level when you learn that during his time in Milwaukee, during his journey as the voice of the Brewers, it wasn't all rainbow and sunshines for Uke. They talk about him losing 2 of his children at young ages, his son and his daughter, and how he had to process that, and how the baseball diamond and the ballpark was sort of a refuge for Uke. As he was going through these incredibly difficult moments, as he was dealing with this trauma and this tragedy, the only place he wanted to be was in the booth at Miller Park,
He
in
kept
the booth
it
at
so
AmFam
private,
Field.
no one would know. Like, there are people that have had those things, and that's part of their resume. It never was with Euchre. And he was very private, but that wasn't. He didn't want that to be a part of what people thought about when they thought about him. When you thought of him, you just smiled and laughed. Well, it'd be hard to laugh when you realize the tough things that he went through. And he could have easily brought that up or become a spokesman. I mean, there's so many ways you could do it that would have been positive. And his belief, I'm assuming, was no, that's not who I want people to think of with me. Or everybody has those stories. I certainly never asked him. He never said, Bud, come over here. We need
Bud.
Hey, Bud.
So promoting the Uke documentary, which of course you should check out this weekend. It will be in Marcus theaters exclusively over the weekend. The hope is, of course, that there is so much interest in the movie statewide that they are able to expand it into other spaces. They had 2 sold-out crowds in April at the Milwaukee Film Festival, received rave reviews. If you are a baseball fan at all, if you are a Milwaukee resident, a Wisconsin resident, Uke, as Homer mentioned earlier, one of the faces of this franchise. Again, I've argued, before this team had the unprecedented success it's had over the last 7 seasons or so, the unquestionable face of Milwaukee baseball, right? You weren't going, oh, you know who it is? It was that one guy, that one guy who, I think that Uke was bigger than Ryan Braun, who won an MVP.
Yes.
I think Uke was bigger than Prince Fielder. I think Uke was bigger than all of these guys who came through and made their mark on the franchise and on the city. And I think that anybody who is interested in baseball in Milwaukee, in Wisconsin, should absolutely check out the documentary this weekend. We're going to take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Still a lot of stuff to get to this morning, but I want to tell you guys about my friends over at Closets by Design. You know that I had to have my closet taken care of because it was an absolute disaster. And the good news is Closets by Design is also doing garages. So if you're pulling into your garage and you're saying, I can't find the things I need, Closets by Design can help. They've got wall storage systems. They've got custom cabinets. They've got garage flooring that is built to last. Everything is customizable to your needs. Right now, they got 40% off, and you can ask about their special financing options. Schedule your free, that's right, free in-home design consultation at closetsbydesign.com. It's closetsbydesign.com.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
I'm Andrew Zimmel in for Debbie Lozica. I-43 northbound between North Avenue and West Hampton Avenue. You're experiencing major slowdowns right now. Between Hampton Avenue and Silver Springs Drive, also slowing down to a crawl. I-43 southbound at Good Hope Road, left shoulder's blocked due to a disabled vehicle. Isn't causing you any issues yet, but good to keep your head on a swivel there. And east and westbound around the stadium interchange, backing up both ways this Friday morning. Today, partly cloudy, a little warmer, a high of 80. Tonight, mostly clear, low of 63. Saturday, partly cloudy, warm and humid, slight chance of storms late, high of 84. And on Sunday, hot and humid, chance of showers and storms, high of 91. Heat index near 100. Dedicated to saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Mother Nature can be unpredictable. Your roof, siding, and windows shouldn't be. We install peace of mind with transparency and quality guaranteed. Visit infinityexteriors.com. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Andrew Zimmel on 94.5 ESPN.
All day, every day. The Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you.
We're not trying to get from A to B. We're trying to get from A to SB, as in the Super Bowl.
800-990-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Looking for your next unforgettable night out in Milwaukee? Step into Upper Bar, where the city lights meet the river's edge and every evening feels like an occasion. Perched above the Milwaukee River with sweeping downtown views, Upper Bar is your stylish escape to the heart of the city. Sip handcrafted cocktails, explore curated wines, and share flavorful bites made for good company. Whether you're meeting friends, starting your night, or just chasing the view, you'll find it all here. Upper Bar. Elevated evenings right in the center of it all. Visit upperbarmke.com to learn more.
Hi, this is Mike from Infinity Exteriors. Most contractors cut corners and disappear when there's a problem. Not us. Since 1997, we've completed over 60,000 projects, earned thousands of 5-star reviews, and were named 2025 Roofing Magazine Contractor of the Year. We set the standard for exterior remodeling. Trusted by homeowners, proven every single day. We're excited to show you why choosing Infinity means peace of mind. Visit infinityexteriors.com to see why your neighbors trust Infinity.
Ready for a weekend you won't forget? Get to the Brewers series against the Rockies Friday, July 24th through Sunday the 26th. There's a game for every fan. See a Brewers postgame alumni legends game on Friday. Then collect a Brewers Guess Who giveaway Saturday night, courtesy of Gruber Law Offices. Looking for an unbeatable family day? Join the crew Sunday when the first 5,000 kids get a local artist t-shirt giveaway designed by Unfinished Legacy. Get tickets at brewers.com.
It's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. Right now, Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin is offering real pricing, real payments, no games, no inflated list prices, no pressure tactics, just smart solutions for your home. 0% financing options available. Some restrictions may apply. See local showroom for details. Offer ends July 31st, 2026.
Less than 4 in 10 kids aged 6 through 12 are playing sports regularly. 4 in 10 kids? Let it sink in. Just 4 in 10 kids. ESPN is building a nationwide coalition powered by Disney called Take Back Sports, with the purpose of training more coaches, expanding access, and creating community-driven sports programming that puts kids and fun first. We're working on that story. We hope you'll join us.
Visit takebacksports.org to learn more.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Do we need to name your pink computer?
2 in the...
Well, here's the problem.
Oh,
Why would you
stop
do that?
Right, come on. It is 7:09. It's a new year,
you want to
new
call
me
his
type of thing.
What? I
Nobody believes that.
What? I'm not the one that made the vagina joke.
Here we go. Jen's back.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Back here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Homer hanging out with me this morning as Gabe and Chewy are off. We just talked about the Uke documentary. Make sure that you make plans to go out and see it this weekend at a Marcus Theater. We talked earlier this morning about that list that came out that had Jordan Love 5th as far as best first-round picks since 2020. Homer brought up a good point. It's like, who cares where you're drafted? You know, you got second-round picks who are really good, third-round picks who are really good.
Teams best at picking quarterbacks. Where were they picked? I don't care. And the Packers clearly have been incredibly good, and compare that to other teams, and the worst team, I don't know if it's the Bears, but teams that have just missed on quarterback after quarterback after quarterback, and whatever rounds they took it in would make their situation even worse.
So Cleveland comes to mind. Chicago comes to mind, you know. And that's what I said about this list. I said if you take anything from this list, there are 2 things. One, if you're going to hit on a first-round pick, it should be your quarterback.
Right.
And what about the disparity between some of these other first-round picks, you know, that are lower on the list, 90 through 151? Is that concerning at all to you? It's concerning a little bit to me, but to your point, if you hit on these other picks, they supplement the, I don't even want to call them busts. That's not fair, but maybe not sure things that maybe Brian Gutekunst and company have had at the other spots. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about, Homer, was this article that Rob Domofsky put out. And again, we are 1 week away from training camp, starts next week. We are 3 weeks away from the Packers' first preseason game. Rob Domofsky of ESPN.com, contends that Green Bay's biggest question entering training camp is this: how do they avoid another late season collapse? Homer, do you agree that that is the biggest question entering camp? And to be honest, that's a pretty all-encompassing, right? That's a big umbrella, this avoid another late season collapse.
That's important every year, how you play at the end. It's like when these Packers, LaFleur says, we need to finish better. No kidding. You need to bring your helmets, you need to have shoes on, and you need to finish better. That's like, there's nothing more basic. Anybody who's been on any team at any level, what's the most important thing a coach says? It's not how you start, it's how you finish the game, the season, or anything. So, what's going on? But I think when you accept that, and certainly that's what it is, because no one's going to care how well they do early in the season, how well are they going to do late, how far do they go in the playoffs? But part of that may be based on winning the division. You win the division, what's your situation? If you're a number 7 seed, your chances of doing anything are almost zero. They created the 7 seed so teams get into teams. You got to beat the number 2, and then you got to beat the number 1 after that. The Packers did amazingly close. The 7th seed in games is 1-9. But yes, I would say that, and I didn't read the article yet, that part of that issue is the inability to run the ball late in games when you're ahead. They just haven't had that. Like you're ahead, you just run the ball because
they try to
and haven't done it well. Now it could be the offensive line or whatever, but even those great teams, when you had Favre or you had Rodgers, when the years they did well, when they'd get ahead, they could run the ball when they needed to, and the Packers haven't been able to do that. And when you can't run the ball, then you end up giving the ball back, and think of how much time you can run off the clock. So to finish the way Rob says, I think that's an area that needs to be looked at even more in terms of a major issue to solve that.
Okay, so you want to talk about things that are very basic, right? Score more points than the opponent, bring your helmets, bring your shoes, finish strong. But also the idea that you run the ball late in games to bleed the clock, essentially.
Right.
We have criticized Matt LaFleur for being too conservative late in games when they have held leads, changing his offensive philosophy or maybe adhering to it, depending on how you feel like he is wired. It doesn't put them in a position to succeed. This is a league now that is a pass-heavy league. And I know we've talked about how the Packers, unfortunately, were not amongst the league leaders in passing over the last few years under Matt LaFleur. You could argue that that was a lack of confidence in Jordan Love, or you get a shiny new toy in Josh Jacobs, so you want to use that shiny new toy as often as possible. But the bottom line is, do you think Jordan Love is now in his career in a position where they can put the ball in his hands late in games with a lead, and he is capable of not only maintaining that lead, Homer, but extending that lead? Because that is what I keep hearing fans banging the drum about, is step on the throat, Matt LaFleur.
Well, but the way you follow teams stepping on the throat, part of that is running the ball because you take time off the clock. And so the difficulty...
You got to move the chains.
Right. So it's like LaFleur, you'd like to run the ball, and you can't, so you need to pass the ball. Yeah, but the problem is more that the offensive line needs to be better or whatever. But yes, I mean, this is what comes with the territory. The Packer problem is not Jordan Love. You can win a Super Bowl with Jordan Love. The problem with the Packers is the rest of the team, and they having to be better. But that's a great question on LaFleur, but I think the answer would be that you'd like to rather run the ball, or, when do you make those plays, or do you pass it more? I guess you probably did need to do it more because you should have known your running game stinks. But I think the difference, I would suspect this year, will be running the ball better rather than changing in those situations where you say they're taking it away from Jordan Love, because that's one of the reasons you choose. There's no risk. So, yes, if we all agree they stink running the ball late in games, or somebody can look up the stats, then, yeah, you need to have Jordan Love do more. And that may be legitimate in the past, in which, didn't LaFleur know this, right? That's not what they're really doing well at some point in the season as the season goes on. Like, okay, if we lose and he makes a mistake, fine, I got to deal with that because my alternative is not as good. I think that's a legitimate point to discuss, the people that follow it, given what you knew about that team. Why didn't you let Jordan Love do more?
Doesn't it stand to argue that instead of being able to salt games away via the run game, wouldn't being more aggressive in quarters 2 and 3 and extending leads instead of doing the, oh, God, we have a lead, let's hold on for dear life thing?
Okay, yes, theoretically, but I think the conversation that we have had multiple times on this show is the explanation for that, and that is the possessions. They just don't have enough possessions to be able to extend the lead in the second quarter, in the third quarter, so that they're not in the situations they're in the fourth quarter. I mean, again, Tomer, we've said on this show, the Packers averaged 8.7 offensive possessions in the last season. That means Jordan Love had the ball 8 times. Now, you know that they're not going to score on every possession. Let's say we said 50% of the time, right? So now 4 times you're finding the end zone. This is what's contributing, I think, to their offensive struggles. And again, I want to be clear on this. I am one of those people, whether you agree with me or not, that the health of this team was a major factor in the quote unquote late season collapse. In the towards down the stretch when they lost 5 straight, it was if you're trying to explain it away, as I said, it's an umbrella. There's a lot of things that fall under the umbrella. But for me, the biggest thing was the health of the team. I don't sit there and attack their mental toughness and say, oh, they're just weak-minded. I don't think Jordan Love regressed to the mean. I don't think it was about, their defense can't get it done. I think it was literally, we are the walking wounded at these major spots, these major positions, and that is why they weren't able to get it done down the stretch.
I mean, I accept that, but I won't accept 0-5. I'm sorry. If the team is good, given all that, you don't go 0-5. Those teams with a coach, with whatever, they find a way. There were games that were close enough. They lost them all. So to me, I agree with that totally, but I can't go 0-5. Now, we're going to find out, because if the team is that good, they should play pretty well beginning this year, even with some injuries. But I could take 1-4. I could take 2-3. So you got all these injuries, but fine. And that did prevent them from being a very good team. 0-5. Good teams find a way, not in all of those games, in one of those games. It was always something. And to me, that's totally reflective on the head coach.
Take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Still a lot of stuff to get to. Stick around.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
The Mitchell Interchange, there's a crash on a ramp by 27th Street North on I-41 West. Not causing any issues yet, but again, something to keep an eye on this Friday morning. I-43 northbound between North Avenue and West Hampton Avenue, you're experiencing slowdowns. I-43 southbound at Good Hope Road, left shoulder's blocked due to a disabled vehicle. It's still able to move around, though. And east and westbound around the Stadium Interchange slowing down, but we're continuing to see movement, so that's good Friday morning. It's good for you. Drivers brought to you by Fisco Auto Body. Call Fisco Auto Body for all your auto body repair needs. Fisco, Fisco, Fisco. Today, partly cloudy, a little warmer, a high of 80. Tonight, mostly clear, low of 63. Saturday, partly cloudy, warm and humid. Slight chance of storms late, high of 84. And on Sunday, hot and humid, chance of showers and storms, high of 91. Heat index near 100. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Andrew Zimmel on 94.5 ESPN.
What is the best part of a Wisconsin summer? State Fair, carnival games, and seasonal treats. Well, Potawatomi Casino Hotel is bringing all of that together this August. Hey, it's Jen Latta. Joining me now is Luis Olmos from Potawatomi Casino Hotel. All right, Luis, let's start with something that's going to make a lot of State Fair fans happy. You have shuttles this year.
We do. On weekends during the Wisconsin State Fair, we're offering complimentary shuttles to and from the fairgrounds.
This is huge news. People won't have to worry about parking. How's it going to work?
It's really easy. Just stop by a Potawatomi Rewards booth to pick up a free wristband. No purchase necessary, then hop on the shuttle located in our bus lobby near the main entrance. Shuttles run every hour. Parking at Potawatomi is free, and it's a great way to skip the traffic and parking lines.
We will absolutely be using that. Now let's keep the carnival theme going because you've got some fun happening on the casino floor as well.
That's right. Mondays through Wednesdays in August, guests can play select table games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em, High Card Flush, and Mississippi Stud for just $10 from 8 a.m. to noon. Just head to 1100 Bar and Lounge Gaming Area or Champions Gaming Area near the Potawatomi Sportsbook, where those $10 games are offered Monday through Wednesday morning.
And after all that, I think people are going to need a snack. Cream City Coffee Company has brand new summer menu.
They sure do. It's full of fresh Door County cherry flavors, including a cherry mocha, iced cherry chai, tropical cherry refresher, and delicious bakery treats like a cherry turnover and cherry white chocolate loaf, and much, much more.
Now that sounds like the perfect way to start a summer morning or recharge after the fair. So where can everyone go to learn more?
Potawatomi.com.
That's POTAWATOMI.com.
At Saturn Lounge, we know if your marketing actually worked, you would know. Your website would perform, not just exist. Your storytelling would inspire, not fall flat. Your integrated campaigns would create impact, not excuses. There'd be no refreshing dashboards, no waiting on a report to explain what happened. It's time to generate quality leads and turn them into customers. Let's make it happen with Saturn Lounge, your marketing partner for clear, measurable results. Visit us today at SaturnLounge.com. When marketing works, it shows.
Hey, Tom, I just really can't get my kids off their phones lately. What's your secret, man?
I told you last time, go to PrecisionSportsOnline.com and buy a hoop. And while you're there, include their court line painting. You'll thank me later. PrecisionSportsOnline.com. That's PrecisionSportsOnline.com.
Calling all High Life lovers, the Champagne of Beers is making history. They're selecting their very first mayor of the Champagne of Beers region. Share your story, throw your hat in the ring, and show us why you love High Life by visiting the Miller Brewery website. Must be 25 plus to sign up, 21 plus to enjoy. Celebrate responsibly.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I'm saying if we collectively, all the people in their cars, all the people listening on the YouTube stream, all the people listening this morning, if we all do it together, there's power in prayer, friends.
Yes, there is. Bless me, Father, for I played man.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Back here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, we've encouraged you this morning to get out and see the Uke documentary, which will be exclusive in 17 Marcus theaters over the weekend, opening today. I know there were some sneak previews at many theaters on Thursday evening. And joining us now on the program is co-director of the Uke documentary, Steve Farr. Good morning, Steve. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jen. Sorry, I had a little miscommunication on my end.
No worries. We're glad that you could join us. Okay, so I watched the documentary last night. Homer has already talked about how he loves Uke, knows so much about him, just having been here as long as he has been. What was the most surprising element when you were putting this this content together?
The most surprising thing about, I guess, I think a person my age, I'm 60 years old. I grew up in Wisconsin, and I was a Brewer fan, Bob Uecker fan, and so I think I knew most facets of his life. But when you try to stuff it all in a 90-minute film, that kind of comes to it really kind of amazes me. I mean, there's so many facets. He took on every opportunity he had. He kind of said yes to, and it was kind of just a remarkable life. I don't know if that. I think for people, a lot of people in other parts of the country, their entry point with Bob might be something very different. It's Mr. Belvedere, or it's Major League, or the Tonight Show, that type of thing. But I think again, for me, the surprise is just that he took on all these opportunities and excelled at all of them, even though he might not have been the most likely person to be good at it, right?
Homer, you want to get in on this?
Yes, I didn't know if you discussed this, but as I said with Kent Sommerfeld, when Belvedere came on, I said, what's going on? And Kent goes, what? I said, it's not as good. That's not Uecker. I said, find out what's going on. Something's different, because Bob Uecker will never be anything that isn't incredibly funny, and it's just not that good. And Kent comes back and says, yeah, they told him they wouldn't listen to anything he said. He had to do what was ever on the script. And it wasn't that it was bad, but everything Uecker did. I mean, I think Uecker created the Miller Lite commercials, that they were a certain way and they were going to do this, and then he got involved, and then all of a sudden you'd watch any commercial and you'd think of Uecker. And
yeah,
so
he pretty much stole the show. You think about all the people he was on with.
Yes, everything he touched. I mean, he was a comedic genius amongst all the other things. There's nothing he ever was involved in. I mean, on all the movies, they let him do the script or whatever. So
yeah, it's true. Stole the show in Major League too.
Steve Farr joining us here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. He's the co-director of the new documentary Uke, which you can watch this weekend at the Marcus Theaters. How emotional did you get during this process? I said the toughest part of the documentary, and again, I don't think I'm telling any secrets here, no spoilers, but was when Uke sort of pushed himself away from the desk in the booth after the Brewers lost to the Mets. And he said, that had some sting on it, or that's got some sting on it. And the word sting really stuck out. And then he sort of just sat there and kind of processed what had just happened and sort of what might be next. Was there any moment where you got emotional while producing this documentary?
I get emotional all the time watching the film or talking about the film. I will get choked up. It's kind of my nature anyway, but yeah, certainly that moment. And you know, Bob had requested that we not be in the booth that night. So we had a long lens camera on a camera, you know, along third base line, and we kind of had that voyeur eye view looking into the booth, and which I was a little disappointed, you know, at that point, but you know, somehow that framing is just perfect, and we just kept the camera rolling. I mean, we just said, let's just see what happens, and there's something just so dramatic about the way the fans are dispersing and wiping the frame, and then there's that moment, you know, where he feels almost a little like disheveled. You know, he's trying to get his headset off. He's got 2 pairs of glasses on, and you know, I remember at the time I said to Michael, my co-director, I said, I feel like I'm watching him age right now. Like he literally looks older to me right now in this last 15 seconds.
But he knew he was done, right? I mean, did he
I have to assume he did.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that.
But you didn't know. He didn't say that to you, or he did?
No, but I think there's certain assumptions, maybe that everybody sort of knew. That's why the locker room people were sad because they lost the game. But I think, like, you know, Christian Yelich, he had tears in his eye because of his conversation with Uke. But there's a lot of emotion in this film. We had a similar shot the year before, you know, where we did kind of the same thing. But
I
anyway.
have to assume, Steve, that you guys were aware of his cancer diagnosis. The clip of him talking to Yelly in the clubhouse all but confirms it. You guys obviously are rolling on that. Then you have it in your footage. You have it in your assets. So how clear was it to you that he had been dealing with this health issue?
Well, we started filming with him in spring of 2023. I can't remember the exact date, month, but it was fairly early on. I would say it was probably May or June that he called me one night, and he told me that he had been diagnosed with a form of cancer. He didn't get into the specifics at the time, but he, being Uke, he apologized to me because he might not be able to, do as many things. And I said, do you want to do it at all? I would completely understand. You need to spend, your free time at doctor appointments, resting, treatments, that type of thing. And he said, no, we'll do it. We'll absolutely do it. I'd given him a list of things that we would try to like shoot and some opportunities. And he said, we'll try to knock them all off, but if we can't get to them all, he apologizes to me. And I said, no, we'll just do what you can, just try to stay healthy. But we did. We knocked off him. We went fishing with him, and we did many of the things that we wanted to do. And so I thank him for that.
I think about how a detail like that would change the trajectory of a piece I was working on. Immediately, sure. The asks become more involved. And I know you mentioned you were trying to defer to, well, we understand that you're going to have this, but I'm sure that you guys wanted to be at some of those oncology appointments. I'm sure you guys wanted to be able to follow him to some of those things. And again, Homer mentioned this earlier. Uecker was so private with those things. It seems like he also just didn't want to, didn't really want that to be part of his legacy. Am I wrong in sort of assuming that?
No, you're 100% on that. We never even, of course we discussed it and said, well, there are documentaries about people where that becomes part of the story, and you literally are going to a chemo session or a radiation session, or you're sitting with the person at home when they're not feeling good. And, we realized that Bob didn't want it to be that documentary. I respect the fact that he talked about it openly with us on camera. And, there's bits of that in the film. We didn't want it to overwhelm the story either, but certainly, it adds some dramatic tension to the arc of the story.
Got anything else?
I'm curious of the people that have seen it. What do they say? What jumps out? What have you heard that of all that's in it that they seem to bring up, or has that even been created yet?
It seems like everybody talks about that last shot. Everybody talks. we've gotten so many thanks from people for making the film and for making an honest movie that somehow tells his entire life and didn't kind of steer away from some of the serious issues that he was going through. Because I think, the remarkable thing to me is that it somehow didn't leak. I mean, he had asked me not to say anything, and I didn't. I told Michael, my co-director, he knew. But the rest of our team didn't know for almost a year. We were the only two people literally within our filmmaking team that knew about it. But I think people talk about that last shot. They talk about how joyous the moment is when he comes back for the 2024 season. And because people forget that, I don't. They maybe made an announcement that morning that he was going to be back, but he hadn't really decided until maybe the day before. And so that scene where he's going into the booth and sitting down and they put the live shot of him up on the scoreboard and people realize that he's in the booth, and he gets up and does his bow, and it was I remember I was right behind him, so I was shooting the over the shoulder shot of him that's in the film, and I remember I had tears coming down my face.
Was it his health that was going to make him stop, or
was it his health?
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. We knew the diagnosis was pretty serious.
It is not all somber. It is not all serious. It is not all emotional. Right. Of course, Euchre's humor is woven throughout the piece. You laugh out loud at a number of
If it had been that,
scenes.
he'd have told him, you can't use it. I guarantee you. Right? If he sees it in the tone or whatever he knew was anything but Euchre, wouldn't he have told you? Forget it.
Yeah, I think so. He unfortunately wasn't around to be part of the editorial. And so, thankfully the Euchre family was very involved, and their notes were terrific. There's some things that they didn't want in, and I understood that. But Bob and Sue were amazing and great partners.
Steve, we appreciate you taking some time this morning to promote the documentary. Uke will be available exclusively in Marcus Theaters, 17 of them. Is there a link or where can people go to find out the information of where these are going to be?
You can go to ukemovie.com, ueckmovie.com. There's a scroll down where you can see the theaters that we're in right now. It's expanding almost every day. I think we're almost up to 50 theaters in the state, and we'll be on the road with it. Last night we were at a Madison Mallards game. I bounced the first pitch, and then we did a intro and a Q&A at Marcus Point, and we'll be doing, I don't know, however many they want us to do, probably dozens over the next month.
Steve, we won't hold the bouncing the first pitch against you. You've put together, you've created a great
It's going to get better. I've got a couple more opportunities.
Exactly. That's how it works, right? You throw the first one, you go, that wasn't so great. You get a little better, a little better, a little better. Steve Farr, co-director of the Uke documentary, joining us this morning. Steve, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. And we look forward to seeing the movie continue to grow and continue to get rave reviews.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Stick around. Craig Karmazin coming up next.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today. More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN. Get ready, Milwaukee. Join ESPN Milwaukee and Yingling this Saturday night starting at 6 p.m. from Dugout 54 on Blue Mound for the ultimate Yingling watch party. Kick off your day with the ESPN Milwaukee Street Team. Score awesome Yingling prizes. Enjoy great food and ice-cold Yingling, then cheer on the first-place crew as they take on Colorado. Nothing says summer like baseball, friends, and America's oldest brewery. We'll see you Saturday at 6 p.m. at Dugout 54 on Blue Mound. DG Yingling and Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly.
Every homeowner has a list. That roof, those windows, that bathroom you've been meaning to update. If you've been putting off home improvements, you're not alone. At Exterior Pros and Baths, they help homeowners upgrade their homes with beautiful roofing, siding, windows, doors, gutters, and bathrooms built to last. Right now, save up to $3,000 on your next project. Don't wait until a small problem becomes an expensive one. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com. Exterior Pros and Baths. Done right, built to last.
Hey, baseball fans. When the game's over, keep the fun of the season going at the award-winning Lake Lawn Resort on beautiful Delavan Lake. Trade the bleachers for the shoreline and the always-on-the-go schedule for total lakeside relaxation. Celebrate your own MVP moments with waterfront dining, golf, relaxing spa escapes, and family fun all season long. Just a short drive from Milwaukee, it's your home run getaway. Book your stay today at lakelongresort.com and come find out for yourself why everything is better at the lake.
Trying to keep up with the 21st century can really get you down.
When you need a break, come to Kessler's.
We'll turn your day around.
We have good air conditioning.
And we love making new friends.
The coffee's better than average.
Because we want you to come back again.
We want to be your jeweler.
My father told you for 29 years that he wanted to be your jeweler.
He put that desire in everyone he hired.
And then he gave us the company.
He transformed our lives and gave us the most fun job on earth.
It's easy to sell jewelry when you sell it for less than it's worth.
Come and take a look at our engagement rings.
And of course, we have thousands of other things.
When you're having an overcast day, come to Kessler's.
We're going to turn your day around.
Free jewelry cleaning done by world-class professionals.
While you drink your good coffee in a room full of diamonds and gold.
Makes you feel better, no matter what you've been told.
One thing you definitely want to see before you're done
is our exclusive Kessler 81.
To find the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Hi, it's Jen Latta. If you've ever put off a painting project because it felt too overwhelming, I totally understand. That's why I was so impressed with 2-Day Painting. From the first consultation to the final walkthrough, their team made the entire process so easy. They recently painted the exterior of my home, and I couldn't be happier with the results. The quality of the work and attention to detail really stood out. Right now, ask about 15% off and free touch-ups for life. Schedule your free estimate today at 2daypainting.com. That's 2daypainting.com, and tell them Jen sent you.
It's Friday, and that means it's time to check in with GKB President Craig Karmazin.
Has any market been as consistent where they only have one team than Wisconsin? We know Chicago hasn't been.
No. Fridays with Mo.
Yeah, but until you win a championship, you can't really say that. And they've had one champion.
Chewy, we're going to just create an AI. The AI Chewy can just bring up championship. We don't even need championship.
They've had one championship.
What, it's going to be put like a hologram over there?
Yeah. Craig Karmazin on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy is brought to you by Saturn Lounge, your partner for marketing strategy, creative content, and winning campaigns. From websites to video and everything marketing, visit SaturnLounge.com to tell the world your story.
Craig Karmazin joining us here on Friday morning. Craig, let's get right to it. We started the show talking about the Milwaukee Brewers, how they are kicking the tires on some of these big-time options out there. Tarik Skubal and Miller from the Pittsburgh, good grief, Padres, brain, come on. Do you think the Brewers make a move before the trade deadline?
I have said all along I think they do. I would be shocked if it was Miller. I just don't. It just doesn't feel like the move they would make. I do think a starting pitcher makes all the sense in the world, and I do think if they're going to make a big move, I would put it on starting pitching right now.
Did you see the list of the guys who are quote unquote untouchables? Mate, Pena, Pratt, and Lara. And I said this morning when Homer and I were talking about this, I don't think there's an ouch button for the Milwaukee Brewers. I think that the cupboard is so full that you can go and pick other prospects and maybe pair them with somebody who's already, with the big league club. And I don't think it will hurt that much. Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree. I think if you're like the Detroit Tigers and you're going to trade the best asset you've had in 15 years, let's say, that I don't think you want to hear from a team, you can't have any of our 3 best prospects, right? Like, I get it if there's maybe 1 or 2 untouchables, but I think when you're going to that elite level, even if it's just like an ego-wise, and maybe I'm overrating that, but I just don't know that a team's like, oh, we're going to trade our best asset that we've had for someone's like 5th and 8th best prospects.
All right, nice on the Brewers. Come on. You got the Badgers. Tell us what you can tell us about how it happened, how long you were working on it. Take it away.
I mean, you said you. Correct yourself before that, Homer.
What?
I think he wants a we.
We.
Yeah.
We.
Oh, okay. I mean, you understand my difficulty doing that, but yes, okay.
I know. I just wanted you to have to say
okay,
we.
fine. We.
I saw Jen. You gave some love to it. Marquette and Wisconsin, the bonds are deep.
Whoa! Let me just
people
go
at Marquette hate Wisconsin.
Let me just go on the
that's
record
not
on
my
this.
job.
I have said this for years. I don't understand why there needs to be any sort of venom between these.
I
programs.
can answer that.
Okay.
As Rick made, only one school can have the state on it. That's it, and everybody else can't be the same. Michigan State deals with the same. Marquette can never be Wisconsin. There can only be one Wisconsin, so Marquette people will always hate Wisconsin for not being able to be the state.
Maybe,
school.
but as a Marquette person, I have never hated Wisconsin.
You're part of a small group.
Again, that might be because I'm from Northern Illinois and I went to Marquette and basketball was life and I was a cheerleader and all that. But as far as football goes, it's always going to be the Badgers. Right? If Marquette wants to add a football team...
You need to talk to your Marquette friends. Nice idea.
Homer,
nice theory.
You've rooted for Wisconsin football, Homer?
I have, but again, we're talking about Marquette people. That's kind of who and what they are.
That doesn't really paint Marquette people in a great light. It makes them seem petty.
That's why I said it's that. No, that's the way it is in every state when you're not the school. And you want to be the school.
So, if I'm hearing you correctly,
Utah
Homer,
State,
Wisconsin is the school.
Yes.
Marquette's mad about it, and that's why there's this issue.
And it exists all over the country. It's not a Marquette thing.
And I'm telling you, as a Marquette person, I don't have that issue. I wonder if there's I wonder if it's a vocal minority.
Maybe, but it's very vocal, and I don't think it's a minority. But you can take the vote. But I want to congratulate you. That's you're taking the high road.
So I was a freshman in college at Emory in Atlanta. I had never been to Wisconsin, and my buddy was going to University of Wisconsin, and he's like, "Our team's so good, we're going to the Rose Bowl." And I was like, "The Badgers are terrible. They're not going to the Rose Bowl. They're never good." And so all of a sudden, they were like 5-0, 6-0. They were playing Indiana, and you couldn't just watch games on TV back then. There weren't that many networks. So we started going out. We went to a sports bar and watched the Badger game, and they rolled. And I ended up going to 2 or 3 other games that year at the sports bar. The Badgers ended up winning the Rose Bowl. I end up deciding, because of Badger football, to come visit the University of Wisconsin while I was still in college. It leads to the creation of this company. And the idea that 30 years after the first time I set foot on campus at the University of Wisconsin, that we will be broadcasting those games in the largest state, in the largest market in the state, is thrilling. And Greg Scalzo did the work, not me, but beyond excited about it.
It's of note because we have never had the Badgers. When they were on TMJ, you did not own TMJ, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
He's not asking me that question, Craig.
We've had him in Beaver Dam, since the beginning. So we've had a long time working relationship with Learfield. And then, we added Badger volleyball, in the last few years. And I think that opened the door and began, what has been, continued to be a growing relationship with Learfield and Badger Sports Properties.
Well, congratulations to us on the acquisition of some of these Wisconsin athletic teams for our broadcasts going forward. We are very excited about it, Craig.
Yeah, I mean, it is. And, we know that it's not, it is for we Marquette people, which I, Homer, consider myself as one of, from when Tom Crean initiated the relationship with ESPN Milwaukee now 20 years ago. I believe that we can support both, and you'll continue to have your Marquette games right here on ESPN Milwaukee, and you will have Wisconsin on WTMJ.
Craig, good to have you joining us here on the show. I know we're running up against the end of the program. Anything else that you're looking forward to or excited about? Training camp is right around the corner. It's starting on, I think, next week, right?
I just have not heard Homer's full take on how good Braden Burries is. And when you see someone like that play at that level, first team all-star,
it's an all-star.
League, you just, yeah.
Best
right?
player on the team.
Now we've
Yep.
pivoted to
Okay.
Bucks,
Just
I
wanted
see.
to make just wanted to make sure.
I mean, he's
just
not
want you, like,
better
to
than
see-
Tyler Hero, but of all the players on the Bucks, he will have the most impressive career of all on the team right now. How's that?
Wow. Yep, I like it. And what he did, the composure, the leadership, just the way he looked like he belonged at Summer League. It's not like he's not going to be a rookie and there's not going to be growing, but it was so exciting.
Now, I do want to
him,
mention I have a
play the
bias
way he
because
did.
I have a bond. I went to Arizona, too. So,
Okay.
you know, that's special.
How
to me.
is that allowed?
Well, I was only there a semester, so no, that really
I'm being
counts.
facetious, obviously.
I think Homer may have been at double-digit schools when it's all said.
He was he was in the transfer portal before
That's-
anybody else.
I'm famous at Arizona because when I transferred back to Wisconsin, you had to get in touch with the coach. And the coach said, I have no idea who the guy is. I didn't know he was on the team. I don't have to do it. So, wasn't the most impressive. I was at practice every day, but didn't know I was on the team. But anyway, sorry. Thanks. Good job, Arizona.
It reminds me of a joke that is in the Uke documentary, guys. Somebody asks Uker, what teams did you play for? And he says, well, I played for Milwaukee. I played for St. Louis. I played for the Phillies. And then he pauses. Then he goes, and then in June, and the joke is that he played for those teams in the first 2 months of the season.
Genius.
Greg, good to chat with you. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again soon. That's going to do it for Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, featuring Homer, a.k.a. Range. Wildy and Tausch is next. We got Matt LePay. We got Luke Fickle. We got Tausch and Jesse. Stick around on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee.